I don't usually do this, sit in front of a camera and talk, but there's something I've been meaning to say for a long time now, and I'm not sure how much longer I'll feel like saying it. My name is Harold Emery. I'm 80 years old, and I've been sitting in this chair for about 20 minutes now, trying to figure out where to begin. I suppose I'll begin with the mirror. There's a small one in the hallway, oval-shaped, dark wood frame. My wife, Dorothy, picked it out sometime in the early 80s. I used to walk past it every morning without thinking much. A quick glance, check the collar, make sure I looked presentable. That was enough. But lately I stop. I stand there longer than I should, and I look at the man looking back at me, and I think I don't know who that is. Not in a frightening way, not the way people mean when they're losing their memory. I mean something quieter than that. I worked for 31 years at the same company, engineering firm. Nothing glamorous, but I was good at it. I was precise. I was dependable. I was the kind of man who arrived early and left late and never asked to be thanked for it. I thought that was character. I thought that was who I was. My son, Michael, he's 52 now, lives out in Portland. We talk on the phone every few weeks. It's pleasant. It's polite. It's the kind of conversation where both people are careful not to say too much. That's not his fault. I want to be clear about that. When he was young, maybe 7 or 8, he went through a phase where he wanted to show me things constantly, drawings mostly. He'd come running into whatever room I was in, paper in hand, out of breath, and I would look. I would nod. I would say something like, "That's good, buddy," and then I'd go back to whatever I was doing. I don't remember a single drawing, not one, and I have tried. I have sat here in this chair, in the quiet of this house, and I have tried to remember even one. I can't. Dorothy used to say I was somewhere else, even when I was home. She didn't say it as a complaint, not most of the time. She said it the way you say something when you've accepted it, when you've stopped expecting things to be different. I didn't hear it that way then. I heard it as her being dramatic. We were married for 44 years before she passed, 4 years ago now, and there's a specific kind of quiet that comes into a house when someone is gone. Not just the absence of noise, something else, something that sits in the corners of rooms. I feel it most in the kitchen, in the mornings. I keep finding myself thinking about a Saturday. I couldn't tell you what year, sometime in the late 90s, I think. Michael would have been a teenager. Dorothy had asked me to take the day off from the office work I'd brought home. Just the day, she said. Just be here, she said. And I remember being annoyed. I remember thinking I'll have time for this later. I remember thinking they don't understand how much pressure I'm carrying. I don't remember what I worked on that day. I don't remember if it mattered. I do remember that Dorothy took Michael somewhere. A fair, maybe, or a park. I remember the sound of the front door closing, and I remember feeling, for just a moment, relieved. I think about that moment more than I'd like to admit. The man I was then, he was certain about things, about what mattered, about what could wait, about who needed him and how much. He had a very clear picture of himself, responsible, steady, providing. And those things were true. I don't want to make myself into a villain because I wasn't one. I paid the bills, I kept the house, I showed up for the important moments, the graduations, the holidays. But there's a difference between showing up and being present. I didn't understand that until it was mostly over. I look in that mirror now and I see an old man with good posture and quiet eyes, and I think about all the rooms I was in where I wasn't really in them, all the conversations I was half listening to, all the times Michael tried to tell me something, not just as a child, but as a young man, as an adult, and I turned it into advice when he just wanted me to hear him. He stopped bringing things to me after a while. I noticed. I just didn't ask why. I'm not recording this because I want sympathy, and I'm not recording this because I've figured something out. I'm recording this because I'm 80 years old, and some mornings the mirror in the hallway stops me cold, and I think about the man I was so sure I was, and I wonder what Dorothy saw when she looked at me in those last years, whether she found him, whether she made peace with him. I hope she did. I think she did, but I never asked her. That's the thing about waiting too long to look. By the time you really see something, clearly, without the excuses and the certainty and the noise of a busy life, sometimes the people who could have told you what they saw are already gone, and you're just left standing in a hallway, looking. If any of this feels familiar to you, I won't tell you what to do with that. I wouldn't know what to say anyway. But if there's someone in your life who's been trying to hand you something, a drawing, a feeling, a moment, and you've been nodding and moving on, maybe just stay a little longer next time. That's all. Just stay.